Guys, today I'm going to teach you everything about the basics hooks. And so, let's start it. First of all, the most basic one of them now is like creating a state. And anyways, here we are going to create a really simple state that only counts, so here we just really easy peasy. And there we go. So this you probably have learned a lot doing it in every single tutorial, and what we are going to be doing here is like using every state that's possible. So here on set state, let's create a use callback. And what does a use callback does? Well, it is only going to create this function again when something inside it dependencies array changes. So here in our case, it's going to be created once because we are only getting the state once. We are not have any kind of dependency that needs to be changed or is changing alongside when the function is before after after the function is created. So, and what we are doing here, what we are doing is like getting the private value that if we can access this private value if we create an arrow function, and if we try to do something like this, what are you expecting that's going to happen? First of all, I'm going to do this way, and here of course if we have 0 we are going to have 2. Okay, so here 2 4, yes, that's it. But if we have another situation here, let's just say that we have state and we are given +1. First of all, it's going to have an error because it has a missing dependency, so we need to add it into array of dependencies, and therefore this function is going to be changed when this dependency is changed. Okay, so here we go, and 1 2 3, yes, that's it. But if something like this happens and we have 0, what's going to happen? It's going to 1 and now it's 2, but you see it. And what is happening? It is because we are not accessing, like in this one, when we are here, the state is 1, and when we go here, the state is 2. No, the state is 1. And why it happens? Because the state here is only going to be updated when this function is created again. So when we are running here, it's not going to be changed. Okay, did you get it? So if you are facing this kind of situation, always prefers to use the prev state. It doesn't matter the name you give it, it's always going to be working. Okay, so here we go, and it's working. It's going always to numbers. Sometimes you are going to need to create something like that, so that's it. We are creating our state. Let's just give this a proper name. Okay, and here we go to our next state, and let's say that we want to, I don't know, have something that like says the hour that it was clicked last time. So how can we do that without compromising our performance? So that's this way. Just think about time clicked, and then we are going to use useMemo. And how does the useMemo works? It's really similar to the useCallback, but it is going to be like it's similar to state and the useCallback. So here we go, and we just add state. So it's going to be changed every time the state changes. It's going to be here and create a new state. Okay. And here we go, that's it. And here we go, and instead of using that, we just, use the time click it. And what have I done wrong? Okay, and here we go, we have the time, but we don't want like that way, if you want something different, just go and oh man, to locale date string. Yes, that's it. And so here we go, and yes, that's it. Okay, now we know what useState does, useCallback, useMemo, and now let's say we want to know to style it. So how are we going to style something? We just can go here and create the half of our function. And let's say that we need to create a function that changes accordingly to the state, Let's say if it's odd, it's one color, if it is, I don't know, odd or even, it depends. It's going to change the color of our h1. Okay, so how do we go? How are we going to do that? It's quite simple. We just need to know the state, and so here we go, and is odd, compile it to magic for us. Alright, and then if, and if we don't have the half, we just go here and return it, because we don't want to create some messy stuff here. So now we just go here in style and change the background, So that's it, and let's see the magic happening. Yes, and that's it. So the useEffect is going to run this function every time something changes. So in our case, always that this state is changing, it's going to be running. Okay, all of our hooks have the array of dependencies, and when its array changes, the function is going to be re-rendered. Okay, useCallback is going to, it's a function, wraps a function. useMemo is like you are doing something like this, a instead of doing this every time the state, any state changes, it's going to create a new instance of that when our state is changed. So it is bad code, and here is good code. So we know that always, if you are doing something like this, prefer to wrap it around a useMemo. Okay, and useCallback is same stuff. Bad, okay, and it is good, it would be bad, really bad, because every time something changes, it would create a new function over and over again, so it makes your code faster. Yes, and here useRef, it's really useful if you want to, I don't know, get the ref of an element, or even if you just want to have something fixed, so I don't know, something that doesn't need to trigger a re-render in your application, so no re-render, so it's not going to be rendered if we just go here and click yes, it's not going to be changing, so we know it. Holy boy. And here we go, if we press our boy here, it's only going to change when the state is changed. So always remember, state always, always, and always is going to trigger a render of your components, and a ref is not going to do that. Okay, there's something that it's really nice to use it. That is a memo. And how does a memo works? Same way a useMemo works, but let's create another useState over here. Really creative right now. And this fella, we are going to create another component, okay? So here we go, comes another component, and in this component, first of all, we're going to do it in the wrong way, as always. And here, just let's go and create something really simple. Prev, always remember, prefer to use prev, so it's always going to be constant. And here we just go and, return another component, and here, value, and value is going to be a string. No, it's going to be a number, and value here is going to be another useState. Okay, so here, okay, and there we go. So let's see how many times another component is going to be called. Okay, so it's another component. Another component, another header. Oh man, I am not doing things correctly. So another component, another component, another component. Okay, so here we go, another component, another component, another component. But if we are going to wrap it around a memo, what's going to happen? Let's see. And always remember to give the name if display name. It's like if you don't do that, it's going like only to generate a random name like we're using Memo. So if you're using a debugger with React, it's not going to work. Okay, so here if we press another component, okay, another component. But if we press set state, whoa, it's not going to render it. It's not rendering it. And it was what we were expecting. So always remember to wrap your components around Memo, so it will prevent really unnecessary re-renders. And if you want something more complex, here we go, and we will be able to always see if you are going to render this component or not. So we have the prev props and the next props. So let's first of all see what we get here. And what we get here is the value. So you see that in this moment we should re-render our component, but in here we shouldn't. And if for some unknown reason you want to create something better, you can just go here and if prev value, and next value. So what's going to happen here? Let's see. So we are only going to be re-rendering this component if they are not equal. So if we return true, it's not going to render. And if returns false, it's going to be rendering again. And I think that was it. These are the most basic hooks that we can have in React. I'm sorry if I was not that great today, but that's it. Thank you for your patience. Love you guys.